Your eyes are deceiving you right now. Your hands feel things that aren't there. Your brain is filling in details that don't exist, making you see motion where there's only stillness and weight where there's only air. We're counting down 6 jaw-dropping ways your senses completely betray you, and number 1 will make you see flowers like you never have before. Number 6. The spinning barber pole. You've seen one 1,000 times, red and white stripes spiraling endlessly upward, climbing toward the sky, never reaching the top. Except it's not actually climbing at all. Those stripes are going nowhere. They're locked in a circle, rotating horizontally, yet your brain is absolutely convinced they're moving up the pole at high speed. Here's what's actually happening. Your visual system isn't tracking the whole pole. It's tracking the intersections where one stripe meets another. When you focus on those crossing points, they seem to move upward because of the way the rotation works. Your brain takes these local motion cues, these tiny details it catches, and interprets them as vertical movement. It never steps back to see the pole as a complete object rotating in place. This is called the aperture problem. Imagine watching the world through a tiny window so small you can only see one small corner at a time. You might see motion in one direction, but you can't tell if the whole world is moving that way or rotating around you. Your brain is stuck in that window. It sees motion locally, but can't figure out the bigger picture. Walk past one next time and really watch it. You'll see the upward climb clear as day, even knowing it's fake. That's the power of your visual system's snap judgment, faster than thought, and almost impossible to override once you see it. Your brain decided the story before your conscious mind could argue. Number 5. You cannot tickle yourself, no matter how hard you try or how unexpected you make it. Tickle is supposed to be the ultimate reflex, uncontrollable, involuntary, pure chaos. But when those tickling fingers are yours, the sensation vanishes. You feel contact, pressure, movement. You feel everything except the tickle itself. The culprit is your cerebellum, a walnut-sized region at the base of your brain that's constantly predicting what will happen next. Before you move your hand toward your ribs, your cerebellum already knows what incoming sensation to expect. It generates a prediction. This movement will create this specific feeling. Then, the moment that sensation arrives, your brain compares the actual input to what it predicted and essentially cancels the difference. Another person's hands, though? Unpredictable. Your cerebellum has no forecast for what they'll do or where they'll touch you. Because the cerebellum generates predictions about incoming sensory consequences before motor commands are executed. When someone else acts, those predictions don't apply, and the sensory feedback isn't dampened. The brain can't distinguish external stimuli the way it does for self-generated movement. Your own body is the only thing your brain's forward model can predict. Number 4. Your brain can see motion in something that hasn't moved an inch. Show 2 nearly identical photographs of the same scene, one with a person's hand 3 inches to the left, the other with it 3 inches to the right, and crossfade between them. Fade the first image out while fading the second in. The person doesn't move. Nothing moves. But you swear you see that hand gliding across the screen. This happens because your visual system is obsessed with detecting change. Your entire visual cortex has specialized neural pathways dedicated solely to spotting differences, motion, edges, shifts. Change is survival. In nature, change often means danger or opportunity. Your brain evolved to pounce on it. A gradual intensity shift between 2 frames, a crossfade, triggers those motion detection pathways even though nothing is actually moving. The brain interprets subtle contrast changes between frames as motion. Because motion usually does create contrast differences. You see a gradual brightness shift, and your brain's motion detector fires. It assumes the shape is moving through space. The static differences between the images become, in your mind, a flowing movement through space. This is closely related to something called the phi phenomenon, discovered over a century ago. If you flash 2 separated dots on a screen in quick succession, you see a single dot moving between them. Nothing moves. The dot teleports. But your brain bridges that gap with phantom motion. Similarly, when you crossfade between 2 frames, the contrast gradient tricks your motion detectors into synthesizing movement where there is none. Your visual system can only process so much information, and temporal resolution, how finely you can distinguish time, is limited. Frames separated by tens to hundreds of milliseconds blur together in your mind as continuous motion rather than discrete snapshots. That limitation is exactly what crossfade exploits. The slow transition lies to your brain about time itself, and your brain accepts the lie. Number 3. Dim the lights and look at your hand. Wiggle your fingers slowly. If the lighting is just right, something strange happens. You don't see your hand in one place. You see it in multiple places at once, like a long exposure photograph of motion. Your hand appears to stretch and multiply across the space it moves through. You're watching a phantom version of your own limb. Your brain doesn't just pick one story and ignore the other. It tries to make both true simultaneously. The result is a perceptual inference, your brain's best guess when sensory data doesn't add up. It perceives the hand in multiple positions because the sensory evidence genuinely points to multiple positions at once. You're not hallucinating. You're seeing what the available information actually suggests. This isn't a failure of perception. It's perception working exactly as designed, constructing the most reasonable reality given the signals available. But when those signals conflict and one is unreliable, reality becomes elastic. Your hand stretches across time and space because your brain is doing its job too well, taking contradictory input and weaving it into a coherent experience. The phantom hand is more real than you think. Number 2. Hold two objects of identical weight. One is small and dense, the other large and airy. Pick them up. The small one feels noticeably heavier. Not a little bit. Noticeably, meaningfully heavier. Your hand expects the small object to be light because small things usually are light. When a small thing weighs as much as a large thing, your brain interprets that as heaviness. It's fooled by expectations it didn't know it had. This is called the size-weight illusion, and it was discovered in the late 19th century when experimental psychologists first started systematically studying perception. They noticed the effect was consistent and powerful. Nearly everyone experiences it the same way, regardless of their background or experience. It's not a quirk of particular people. It's built into how human brains estimate weight. Here's the remarkable part. You cannot make it stop. Tell yourself in advance that both objects weigh exactly the same. Repeat it out loud. Know it intellectually. Pick up the small object anyway. It still feels heavier. The illusion persists even when people are explicitly told the weights match. Your conscious knowledge cannot override the sensation, because sensation depends on predictive models your brain learned long ago, models that say small things should be light. This reveals something profound about how sensory perception works. It is not a passive camera recording reality. Your eyes, hands, and ears don't simply transmit raw data to your brain. Instead, your brain is constantly making predictions about what sensations should arrive, based on past experience and learned models of how the world works. When reality matches the prediction, you feel confident. When it doesn't, you feel the mismatch as surprise, or in this case, as unexpected heaviness. The size-weight illusion shows that your perception of the physical world is fundamentally shaped by your expectations, not just by the objective facts. Your brain has learned, over your lifetime, that smaller things are usually lighter. That learning doesn't come with an off switch. Every object you pick up gets filtered through those expectations, and sometimes, when the world violates them, reality feels different from what it actually is. Number 1. Flowers you see every day are not the flowers birds see. There's a hidden world painted on petals invisible to human eyes. Dandelions, sunflowers, marigolds, evening primrose, all of them wear secret markings that guide birds and insects like runway lights guiding aircraft. These aren't metaphors. They're real ultraviolet patterns that concentrate exactly where nectar waits beneath. Photograph any of these flowers with a camera sensitive to ultraviolet light and the illusion shatters. What looked like a simple petal to your eyes reveals itself as a decorated masterpiece. Concentrated UV markings form patterns, stripes, and hotspots that all point inward. Nectar guides, evolution's version of arrows and signs. The flower is essentially screaming at the bird, enter here, drink here, move the pollen while you're at it. These UV patterns exist because flowers with ultraviolet markings can signal nectar location to birds and insects that perceive UV wavelengths. The concentration of UV markings near the flower center where nectar is located reveals nectar guides, concentrated UV markings that direct pollinators to the nectar. Every flower in your garden is a secret painting hanging in an invisible gallery. Right now, birds are reading that art, following those ultraviolet highways to food that you have no way to see. We solved this entire episode thinking our senses were our window to reality. But reality is infinitely richer than we perceive. What we see is just the thin slice our brains decide to show us, and the rest of the world blooms unseen all around us. 6 ways your perception lies to you. A barber pole that climbs nowhere. A tickle you can't inflict on yourself. Motion that doesn't exist. A hand that multiplies in the dark. Objects heavier than they are. And flowers painted in colors you'll never see. Your senses are extraordinary, but they're not recording devices. They're storytellers, prediction machines, best guesses based on what your brain learned long ago. If you haven't subscribed yet, we've got dozens more impossible facts waiting. Keep watching to see what else your brain is hiding from you.